Hello everyone, hope you're doing well. Today we will be analyzing Shakespeare's Sonnet 19. This is a fairly short analysis since the poem is short, but I've tried to pull out the things you need to pay particular attention to. We will first read the poem and then analyze it line by line. Devouring time, blunt thou the lion's paws, and make the earth devour her own sweet brood. Pluck the keen teeth from the fierce tiger's jaws and burn the long-liv'd phoenix in her blood. Make glad and sorry seasons as thou fleets, and do whatever thou wilt, swift-footed time, to the wide world and all her fading sweets, but I forbid thee one most heinous crime. Oh, carve not with thy hours my love's fair brow, nor draw no lines there with thine antique pen. Him in thy course untainted do allow, for beauty's pattern to succeeding men. Yet do thy worst, old time, despite thy wrong, my love shall in my verse ever live young. Now let's analyze the sonnet. Devouring time, blunt thou the lion's paws. The first thing to notice is that the persona personifies time, making it seem like an inanimate entity that has the power to act like people, but you don't see it replying to the persona's accusation, making this an instance of apostrophe. This may symbolize that time will never directly reply to the persona since it only cares about its happiness and not anyone else's. The pause after devouring time creates a dramatic effect, making the reader anticipate what is to come. From the very first line, we are made aware of time's antagonistic nature in the eyes of the persona. It is described using bestial imagery through the verb devour. The following is a list of all the supposedly vicious things time does out of pleasure. And make the earth devour her own sweet brood. Perhaps what the persona says here is that with time, as animals grow, they fight for survival and it turns into a battlefield. Initially, the younger animals depend on the parents for survival, but turn beastly with the passage of time, harming those who they once may have befriended. Pluck the keen teeth from the fierce tiger's jaws. Time is shown superior to the rest through its hold over powerful creatures such as lion and tiger and diminishes their powers, reflected by the words blunt and pluck, giving harsh sensory images highlighting the brutality time works with without facing any consequences. The tiger and lion may represent the leaders or dictators of the world, and no matter how powerful a man is, he has to fall when time reaches him. And burn the long-lived phoenix in her blood. Sensory image is used once more to allow the reader to experience a fraction of the pain the phoenix has to go through. Furthermore, the phoenix imagery may show that time tortures the phoenix to death, which is why it needs to be reborn, showing that time is omnipotent and everything goes according to its dictatorial. The only pauses are at the end of the lines. This lack of pauses makes it seem the persona is showing how fast time is and how one is unaware of it until it's too late. Make glad and sorry seasons as thou fleets, and do whatever thou wilt, swift-footed time. Seasons may represent the time in one's life. The glad seasons are the happy ones and the sorry seasons are the unfortunate moments, and one always has to go through them, for he has no other option but to live according to time's plan. The sibilance in sorry seasons creates a hissing sound, making the reader see the contemptuous tone. The use of the word fleets makes it seem like time is swift, cunning, and lucky. The swift-footed time is separated by the rest of the line with commas, making it seem like the persona is trying to confine time by slowing it down. To the wide world and all her fading sweets. The alliterative W in worldwide creates a wistful tone, implying the writer is saddened by time's way of working. For he does not like to see his surroundings constantly changing, but at the same time he is also accepting this, knowing it is not possible to stop time. Unlike previously when the persona appeared to be fed up, in the next line he may be seen as confident and smart, for it seems as if he has formed a plan to make time suffer. But I forbid thee one most heinous crime. This makes the persona look like he is in control of the situation for the first time and more powerful than time, for he has no authority to forbid it. The pause after heinous crime brings a sense of suspense, making the readers anticipate what is the single crime the persona finds problematic. "O carve not with thy hours my love's fair brow." In this line we may see a turn of the sonnet, and through the expression "oh" and the pause after that, we get to see something metaphysical. It may also be seen as something elliptical in shape, hence symbolizing eternity. It is made aware the persona fears his beloved will have to go through an aging process like everyone else. Taken out of context, this detail seems very troublesome for the relationship, but that's not what the sonnet is about. Anyway, he further uses the word hours, which is closer to everyday life, showing how time so slowly and gradually, yet so quickly, causes such changes in a person's life. Nor draw no lines there with thine antique pen. He uses the words carve and draw when talking about the wrinkles the beloved is bound to get, but this image seems very harsh and brutal, making it seem as if the wrinkles made by the antique pen will cause great pain to the beloved and somehow taint her, lowering her futural value, and the persona empathizes with her. The use of the exclamation mark after pen gives the impression that the persona is screaming at time by this point, as if trying to show himself as the superior one. The exasperated tone reflects the persona is now challenging time. "Him in thy course untainted do allow for beauty's pattern to succeeding men." Through him, the persona is most likely referring to a young boy, asking time not to snatch his youth, to let the young boy explore beauty and nature without putting any hindrance before him. This hindrance is shown as a taint, allowing the readers to see the negativity time brings into one's life, how it takes away innocence, curiosity, wonder. But the persona does not mention the fact that with time comes experience, understanding, wisdom. He sees everything in a very cynical manner. "Yet do thy worst, O time, despite thy wrong." After asking time not to do certain things, he tells it to do thy worst, making this an interesting statement since he first forbids time from making his beloved age, then he pleads to let the young boy live life, but now he challenges time to do its worst. With the use of worst and wrong, he shows time as immoral amongst all and proceeds to contrast this negativity with the persona's love for the beloved. He uses the word old to describe time. This may be to show that time will not be efficient for once, and it has been outsmarted by the persona. The persona also draws a contrast between old and young, thus now mocking time through the fact it cannot conquer this time. "My love shall in my verse ever live young." He gives the solution to the problem of aging and shows that through art, poetry, specifically verse, the beloved's beauty will be preserved, signifying the importance of creative endeavors, for as you see, through this poem, he has allowed his beloved to ever live young. That's pretty much it for this analysis, since it was a short poem. Comment your thoughts, analyses, interpretations. I'd love to read what you think and help you develop your arguments. Hopefully you found this useful. If you did, do consider liking since it helps a lot. Take care. Bye.